Hi, my name is Joy Jeffries, and I'm the Tourism Director for Frankfort and Franklin County. And my husband and I moved here nearly 4 years ago now. It'll be 4 years in August for me to take this job as Tourism Director. And one of the first things that I noticed was the absolutely gorgeous Kentucky River, which runs through downtown Frankfort. And I was kind of surprised that there was so little development along the river. We've got Jim's Seafood that sits in a beautiful spot with the windows out over it, and we have the Dragon that backs up to the river and has a deck out there where people can see it. And of course Buffalo Trace Distillery sits on the river, but very little opportunity for people to actually be on the river or see the river or use it as a beautiful backdrop. And so our commission started thinking about what could we do to help develop the river, and this is a project on which we've worked very diligently for nearly 4 years. In addition to our commission, we have also worked very closely with Senator Carroll and Representative Graham and Barrows at the time, and now Representative Rollins, and we've had extremely good cooperation. The legislature and the Kentucky River Authority have allocated funds for repairing the locks and dam system, and both Lock and Dam 3 and 4 are integral to our development of our portion of the river. As a matter of fact, at one point we almost felt like we were at a stopping point until we were able to get the funds to secure that, and Steve Reeder from the Kentucky River Authority worked very hard to make that happen, and we're appreciative of that. So at this point we excuse me, are working very hard to get a massive development plan all the way on the Kentucky River from the connector and winding around behind the Capitol, and eventually down underneath the Capitol Bridge and down through downtown underneath the Singing Bridge, around through Riverview Park, and completely out to Buffalo Trace Distillery, which is a massive plan. And we fully realize that, and we realize that it may take us a couple of decades to do this, which means I won't be around to see it, but I'll be walking around with my cane saying, you all did a good job. One of the things that's very important to us is to get people of our community out on the river. And I've been begging Canoe Kentucky for more than a year now to help us out with this, and I'm so grateful to Nathan and Allison Deppenbrock and to Ed Council, the people at Canoe Kentucky, for agreeing to do a river ride for us. And in just a few minutes, you're going to actually go on the river with Nathan and myself, and we're going to take a very short little ride, and we hope you'll enjoy seeing what's out on the river. Go for a ride with me and Nathan. Here we are getting ready to take our ride on the Kentucky River.
Here we go.
I'm glad you're here with me to help me guide the people on this tour. The other voice besides mine, Joy Jeffries, that you're going to hear is Nathan Deppenbrock, and he and his wife Allison are now running Canoe Kentucky.
That's correct.
And I see you standing up. Tell us what you're doing, Nathan.
Well, getting things ready here for the trip, getting these canoes all set to go. These ones take a little bit of time to get in the water and get all ready to go. Of course, we've got to get our Kentucky flag out there and ready to go. So looks like we're ready to roll out here.
Now, this is what I know your father-in-law Ed Council calls the Lewis and Clark canoes, correct?
That's correct. These canoes are actually referred to, the people call them by different names. Some people I've heard call them war canoes. Technically, they're called Voyager canoes, the war canoes that the Native Americans used were a little bit different than these, especially in materials that they are made out of. But this one is it's made out of fiberglass, and it's built to resemble a
I'm
Voyager
guessing
canoe.
the Native Americans didn't have fiberglass.
They didn't have fiberglass, no. The original Voyager canoes were made out of birch bark. This one's actually made out of fiberglass, but they were made out of birch bark, and they were used mainly by the Voyagers, the French settlers that came across Canada into the United States, and they were used in the fur trade industry. The boat was used that was similar on the Lewis and Clark expedition, but a lot of those boats were more flat bottom. So this one would resemble more of one of those Voyager canoes. And And these Canadian explorers would put these anywhere from the big flat rivers and lakes up there all the way through some pretty big whitewater too. And you get about 16 to 18 big guys paddling one of these things all together. They'll move along pretty quick. Yes, they will.
Now, what we're doing here is just a little snippet of the tour that people could take on Friday nights. We're offering these. And Nathan, I'm so appreciative of Canoe Kentucky doing this because we want so badly to get people out on the river. And this is every Friday night you're offering this at 6 o'clock.
Right.
And they can get tickets at our office at the Frankfort Tourism office, or they can certainly call Canoe Kentucky. And that number is what?
That number is local 227-4492. And if anybody wants to call from out of the area, we have a toll-free number as well, which is 888-CANOE-KY. And we're glad to finally be doing these on a regularly scheduled basis. We do a lot of trips on the river and use the Kentucky River a lot for school groups, and KSU programs use the river a lot. And we try to put people out on the river as much as we can. Nice, big, flat, beautiful body of water that we have running through right here in downtown Frankfort. And it's nice.
Now this is coming. We're just coming out of Benson Creek here.
We're coming out of Benson Creek right here, dumping onto the Kentucky River. Of course, looking upstream there. That's heading farther upstream, looking up towards
that's
where
the railroad bridge.
That's the railroad bridge right there. Yeah. And these are nice Friday night trips. It's a good chance to kind of get out, and as it gets later in the year, be getting a little bit of sunset in there probably, and it's a great way to enjoy the river. It's actually a very pretty section coming down through here, and a lot of people don't realize what a great view you have of the downtown area and everything, getting to see it from the waterfront, and especially being in a human-powered boat versus a motorboat, where all the sounds are going to be accentuated a lot more.
I just am noticing this because you and I were riding, and of course Andrew was from the plant board was filming this, but he got beautiful shots.
Yeah, this is very nice. Yeah.
Oh, kudos to you.
It makes
Andrew.
me want to go out and paddle it some more.
I know it. I'm thinking I got to get my husband out there.
Yeah, that's looking back now. We're downstream here of Benson Creek. We're heading down towards Lock 4 in the dam down there. Of course, we're not going to get too close to it, but a little bit of wildlife that you get to see on the river. You know, we see all kinds of wildlife, more or less when you get up Benson Creek than you do on the river, but Canada goose are just one of the animals that we
Those geese followed us for quite some time, didn't they?
Yep. Nice little family of geese there. We've also seen, mink. We see a lot of mink in the river. We've seen deer. We've seen of course, the furry little raccoons and squirrels and things like that quite often as well. Now,
this is the ramp we just passed was at Riverview Park.
That's right, and then this is just past Riverview Park. This is an old barge. What we think this is one of the old barges when there was barge traffic still coming through Frankfort. At the time that the river was still being used a lot for commercial traffic, then the barges were there, and that one was left behind, and kind of a neat symbolic reminder, to me, of the commercial business that this river was used for at one time, which it's not used for as much anymore.
Right.
You got to think that a lot of Frankfort was built on this river. A lot of the materials and stuff that were used to build Frankfort were brought up the river. A lot of the New Orleans influence that Frankfort has came because they were able to transport it up this river. And it's just not used for that anymore, and not enough people are getting out and enjoying what we have right here in Frankfort with it.
Well, we're grateful to the legislature and to the Kentucky River Authority for allocating funds to repair the locks and dams, because hopefully by 2010, Lock and Dam 3 and 4 are going to be repaired.
Correct. And
thank you, Steve Reeder and the legislature for doing that. Now, this is where the old sand lot was. Is that correct?
This is the old sand lot. We're just getting relatively close to the lock and dam system right here. We're probably about 300 or 400 yards upstream.
Now, this is actually where the barges would pull up to that dock.
To unload or to load. That's correct. Yep. For loading and unloading.
I was most amazed when I took my first trip out on the river on a pontoon, how absolutely natural. It's in very beautiful condition, isn't it, the river?
It is. It's in really good shape. It's actually really clean, too.
That's what amazed me.
A lot of times people think that this river is going to be bogged down with a lot of trash and garbage, and it's really not. It's kept up very well. Either the users are very conscious about making sure they're not putting their trash out, or they're picking
and the
up their
River
trash
Authority does sponsor cleanups. Oh, here we are turning around.
This looks like we're probably going to turn around and start heading back upstream here. Now, normally on the Friday night paddle trips that we do, we'd be leaving from the Riverview Park boat ramp that we saw just a few moments ago.
You put in down at Benson Creek.
We put in at Benson Creek and paddle it over. Yep, and we'll meet you at that dock